Whether you're a fan of stealth games like Metal Gear Solid 3, or hack and slash games like God of War, or you're just seeking a simple adventure with the Jak and Daxter series, the PlayStation 2 had something for everyone. As much as I would love to talk about these games, that isn't the reason you clicked on this video. No, you wanted to know what are the worst games ever released for the PlayStation 2. Particularly, you wanted to know the 5 most insanely bad PlayStation 2 games out there. Games so bad, so poorly conceived and executed, it's any wonder just how the hell they were able to get through one round of playtesting. If there was any playtesting to begin with. Games so bad they weren't even released in the US. Believe me when I say that we are on an archaeological dig into the darkest corners of the PlayStation 2 library to unearth the truly forgotten disasters. Before we begin this painful journey, if you enjoy watching someone else suffer through gaming's worst offerings for your amusement, make sure you subscribe to the channel and please hit the notification bell. It's a small price to pay for my sanity. Phoenix Games was a small-time British-Dutch video game company that published various shovelware titles over the years. One of these titles was London Cab Challenge, developed by mere mortals and released for the PlayStation 2 in 2004. The game tries to be Crazy Taxi, only just set in London, England. Unfortunately, the 3D world looks nothing like London or any conceivable city. Rather, it's just a tiny and foggy collection of blurry textures and blocky buildings. It feels less like a major city and more like a ghost town from an early PS1 game. Gameplay couldn't be more repetitive. You just spend the entire time picking up invisible passengers. Yeah, some taxi experience, picking up non-existent people only indicated by an arrow. Each time you pick up a passenger, you simply take them to the destination, also indicated by the freaking arrow. And that's basically it. The controls are a special kind of awful. Your cab feels like it's permanently sliding on a sheet of ice, which makes the already slow and unresponsive turning a total nightmare. Collision detection is a joke, of course. You just bounce off other cars and lampposts like a pinball machine. It's obvious that this game was released entirely unfinished. That's especially evident by the numerous bugs such as vehicles getting stuck or textures being excessively stretched, which go beyond the model of the objects. They also didn't put much thought into the draw distance, as cars suddenly show up far too close for you to react. Licensed games have a spotty record, but every so often a developer takes a beloved franchise and treats it with such incredible disrespect that it becomes a spectacle. Case in point, Beverly Hills Cop on the PlayStation 2. Brought to you by another budget publisher, Blast Entertainment. This game is so bad it's been called an interactive war crime. The second you start, you know you're in for a ride. The iconic Axel F theme sounds like a cheap knockoff you find on a royalty-free music site, probably added to avoid paying for the real thing. The main character, who's supposed to be Eddie Murphy's Axel Foley, is a bald, pale-skinned man who looks nothing like him. It's painfully obvious they wanted to cash in on the name without paying for the face that made it famous. So instead of Eddie Murphy, you get Mr. Clean. Gameplay is very clunky, slow, and fundamentally broken. I'll admit that the footage you're seeing now doesn't come from me, but from an old video from archive.org. I couldn't get past the first mission, which for some reason is a stealth mission where you had to crouch to avoid enemies. Only I couldn't do this because I kept getting caught thanks to the slow movements and bad controls. And if you dare to be caught or die, the game makes you go all the way back to the start of the level, of which there are only 6. But the true genius of this terrible design is the enemy AI. Back in 2006, players actually found a quick break-in exploit. If you just crouch, the enemies can't aim at you properly. They just keep shooting over your head, making you practically invisible. You can just walk through the levels, taking out enemies who seem completely baffled by the concept of aiming down. There's no joy here, no fun, just a slow, ugly experience that does nothing to capture the action or comedy of the movies. It's a lazy, soulless cash-in that feels more like a fan's homebrew project than an official licensed product. Some licensed games are obscure because the source material is niche. Case in point, Little Britain, the video game. So, how did this end up in the dustbin of history? Well, by being absolutely appalling and irredeemably awful, of course. Published by Blast Entertainment, yes, the same folks who gave us Beverly Hills Cop, this game tries to turn the show's humor into a collection of minigames. Each of the 7 minigames is a painful ripoff of a classic game like Pac-Man or Tetris, but with Little Britain skin and absolutely none of the fun. You'll be guiding Lou and Andy, skating as Vicky Pollard, and doing other things that are tedious as they are nonsensical. The controls are a nightmare, the graphics are ugly, and the gameplay is so broken and frustrating that it's almost unplayable. This game actually holds the dubious honor of being one of the lowest rated games ever to be reviewed on any site. The only reward for slogging through this mess is unlocking clips from the actual TV show, which just reminds you that you could be watching something funny instead of playing this disaster. This isn't just a bad game, it's a cynical cash grab that insults the intelligence of its audience and the legacy of the show is based on. And now we return to the terrifying world of Phoenix Games, a publisher known for adaptations of low-budget animated mockbusters. There's no greater example of their unique brand of awful than Snow White and the 7 Clever Boys. Totally not a ripoff of the Disney classic film. Released in 2006, this game is less of a game and more of an interactive movie with a few mini-games sprinkled in. Oh, I'm sorry, it doesn't even get that part right. Most of your time is spent watching a bizarre, poorly animated cartoon that only barely resembles the classic fairy tale. The story is just baffling. Snow White is on the run from some evil queen and ends up with 7 clever boys named Chubby, Big Basil, the Professor, among others. The voice acting is stilted and weird, and the plot is a total mess. When you finally get to the gameplay, you're treated to some of the most basic activities imaginable. A sliding puzzle, a memory mashing game, a digital coloring book. That's it. That's the entire game. But forget about all that for a minute. Let's just turn our attention back to the game cover. It looks different from the actual game, right? And that's because Phoenix knew damn well that more little kids would be tricked into buying it with the familiar Snow White character on the cover. But the box art itself is still a masterpiece of false advertising, showing a crudely modeled version of Disney characters. Meanwhile, the in-game designs are completely different and a million times more horrifying. Then of course you have the start menu. You know, I get that the game is for ages 3 and up, but most kids can manage the start screen. Rather than game options, you're given a poorly drawn selection screen with a mouse. God, even the mouse looks like it's suffering from the game's horrible animations. Using the mouse, you can select from a different number of options. Of course, being that there's no text, you kind of have to guess based on what the animal is or what they're holding. That doesn't even look like an animal. It looks like a freaking pool toy grew eyes. I spent around 2 minutes trying to figure out which one of these actually starts the game. Not knowing, of course, that there was no game. Anyway, this was really confusing, and I have to say that none of the additional features that were provided are barely worth the time it took to navigate. This is the absolute peak of low-effort shovelware. It feels like a product designed in a single afternoon just to trick unsuspecting parents at the bargain bin. It's a title that has become infamous among collectors for its sheer audacity and its complete lack of redeeming qualities. Playing Snow White and the 7 Clever Boys is a surreal experience, like a journey into a world where quality control and basic game design just don't exist. God damn it, Happy. Our final stop in this museum of misery is a genre that the PS2 had a ton of, the kart racer clone. But few were as lazy, cynical, and fundamentally broken as Action Girls Racing. Developed by Data Design Interactive, another notorious producer of shovelware, this game is a complete insult to the kart racing genre. Released in 2005, Action Girls Racing is a shameless Mario Kart ripoff which fails on every single level. The game gives you a cast of 8 generic female characters with 0 personality or unique abilities. The graphics are blocky and ugly with character models that look like rejected Bratz dolls. The controls are unresponsive, the frame rate is all over the place, and the physics are a complete joke, with cars flipping over from the slightest bump. The tracks are huge, empty, and boring, with laps taking an agonizing long 4 to 5 minutes to complete. To make matters worse, the AI uses aggressive rubber banding, meaning no matter how well you race, an opponent will just get a random speed boost to fly past you, making winning feeling almost impossible. There's also the lack of battle mode. The items you pick up through the race are generally useless, and most of the content is locked behind a tedious grind. It's a hollow, joyless experience from start to finish. Get this, IGN actually gave the game a 0.8 out of 10, which is a testament to its spectacular failure. It's the perfect example of a developer just churning out low quality product to cash in on a popular trend, with no fault for the poor souls who might actually play it. The most depressing thing about this game is the fact that your racer moves at the speed of molasses. Seriously, I think you would go faster on a lawnmower than these carts. And there you have it, a horrifying tour for the absolute worst PS2 games you probably never heard of. My soul hurts, my eyes are burning, but I did it for you. Now I want to hear from you. What's the worst and most obscure PS2 game you ever had the misfortune of playing? Let me know in the comments below. I need to know I'm not alone in the suffering. Also guys, thanks for joining me on this painful ride. If you enjoyed this, please give it a like and consider subscribing for more deep dives into gaming's forgotten disasters. With this video, I'm kinda hoping to start a new direction for the YouTube channel. For future videos to come, I'll be focusing less on retrospectives and looking more into the disasters of the industry like the games I covered here. So once again, thanks for watching and please subscribe to the channel for more videos to come. This is your big homie Bob of Smoking Fiend Productions signing off. Stay safe out there, y'all.